This video is to show you how to install a Wolo bad boy horn on a 2003 Suzuki 1500 intruder. Of course, this intruder is similar to the C90, so even though I haven't seen it, I'm assuming it's going to be close. So let's get started. Looking at the back of the horn, I've already taken it off. Simply loosen the nut here, and then you can see the two wire terminals. Pulled the wires right off. The bracket for the horn and also the two wires going to the terminals on the horn. And you know, one of the hardest things to do is to figure out where to put your relay and all that stuff. And I'm actually, I've already taken the fairing off, and I'm going to mount it up in here. And the reason why is because the wires for the horn are long enough to fit up through this hole right in here. And so I'll be able to not have to cut those wires and hook them directly to the relay. I went on eBay and bought me an inline fuse kit that came with a 12-volt relay and even a wiring harness for like $3.50. You can see I've got it hooked up here. I put a ring terminal on one end to go on the positive terminal on the battery. Then I have a black wire coming off the other end that I've soldered and put some heat shrink wrapping on to run up to the relay. And you can see here I'm just running the wire right up through here. There's already a zip tie right there. There's my black wire on top, and I just kind of fitted it through there. And it's going to come out the other side, and I'm going to use one of these other zip ties that's already pre-existing to run it under. And you can see there's the two terminals for the horn right there. So that's where my relay is going to be. And then it's just a matter of running the ground wire. Here's a picture of the bottom of the relay. You know, most experienced mechanics know that a relay is important because the switch on your horn button that's on your motorcycle is not made to handle the high amperage that you'd see from the horn, that at least from this bad boy horn. So the way this works is you take the existing horn wires and you connect to 86 and 85, and that's right in the instructions. Then off this terminal you go to the horn, and this terminal is your input from the hot side of the battery. That's labeled 30. The middle one here is actually not used in this application, so you can just ignore it. If you don't use a relay and you try to hook your horn straight up to the available wires or existing wires, you're not going to get enough power to your horn. It's probably going to sound weak, and you also could burn up the switch on your motorcycle. I had my hot wire from the positive battery terminal and put a female disconnector on the end of it to go onto the relay. And then I found where I'm going to do my ground wire. Actually, don't know how well you can see it, but here's the bracket for the horn, and then there's two bolts right at the top. And I'm just going to use one of those for my ground screw. Here I've got my wires connected to the bottom of my horn. I've got a terminal on the end of my ground wire that I'm going to put behind that bolt in the bracket. And then this wire, the other wire, I've left longer just so I can run it up to my relay, and then I'll trim it to length once I get it close to the relay. We have the horn installed, and you can see I have a 90-degree bracket that I bought for like 55 cents at the hardware store. I attached that to the existing black bracket that the original horn came on. And then you know, after using some washers, lock washers, etc., tightened it up, and it's on there really good. You can see the two wires coming up. Those are going, one's coming from the relay, and the other is going to the ground wire on the screw on the bracket. The other thing that I did on the bottom here, as you can see, is I used some heat shrink to get rid of my blue connector colors, and that way it just looks a lot better from that angle. Also, here it's installed. I've got my key in, turned in the on position. It's time to try it out. And it is way louder than the factory horn, no doubt. So pretty simple install, and good luck.